Hello and welcome. Welcome one and all to episode 20. Nope, not going to get me there. Hello and welcome to episode 37. Wow, episode 37 of the Heart of a Villain podcast, the podcast devoted to the bearded villains' worldwide brotherhood and the lives they are changing all over the world. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. As I always say, I do appreciate you guys so much for being here. If you are here on the live stream over on YouTube, kudos and welcome and thank you. And if you're listening later on any one of several major podcast platforms, I greatly appreciate you guys also. So I hope everybody is having a happy Friday night. Again, I said this is episode 37. I'm getting to the point now where I have to actually train my brain to think about what episode we've gone through, because ever since we've been doing weekly podcasts since the beginning of this year, boy, it's crazy to think, how quickly they add up. And before too long, in just a matter of, well, let's do the math, 12 more weeks, we're going to be pushing number 50 podcast episodes. So hopefully I've got some special things coming up to be talking about when that time comes around. But 50 episodes going to be doing before too long. So this is episode 37. Again, my name is BP from Bearded Villains of Indiana and the host of The Heart of a Villain. Thank you guys for being here. Man, it's been a fun week. It really has been a fun week in BV circles this week. We've had some good themes come out. I'll talk about that in just a second. We've had some good news on the front of different events starting to pop up again, and we've got some other events that are starting to try and kind of be, I guess, organized would be the answer, the way I'd describe it. There's chapters trying to organize some different things, still kind of on the down low, but man, it's coming together. I don't like some of the numbers that we're starting to see from the government on coronavirus cases going up, but I'm no medical professional, but I will say my personal opinion is that was bound to happen when people started going back to work, and then mandates were set in place that they had to get checked before, when they normally weren't going to be checked, but they had to get checked before getting back to work. So that's just my own, it just kind of makes sense to me that would be the case. I don't know if there's any truth to that at all, but man, I'm just excited. I'm excited to see, it just feels like we're starting to turn a little shift here, and especially within BV circles, with some energy that has been churning me on, and not turning me on, but churning. No, we're not going there, guys. But real quick, I just want to say thank you to everybody on the live stream who is out and about here, and we've had a bunch of people chiming in here. Michael, we have Puzzle, Mr. Hector there, Sharissa, excuse me. Of course, our bearded Irishman, Gator, always, Michael and Aaron. Trey was here, had to take off, I'm not sure, for work. Of course, we have Papa in the house, who we're going to talk to him in just a little bit. Should be a real good interview. Hopefully everybody will glean something from that. It's fun. And Jay, I guess Jay was here and then left. He wants to go listen to us at some other time, I guess, but that's okay. No worries, buddy. But yeah, so this is episode 37, and our guest on episode 37 is going to be Papa. And if you don't know him by that name, I don't know what to tell you, but Papa, or otherwise known by many people as the Hogfather. Yes, he is. He's from the BVC, but he is the Patch Master, the Patch Hog, Master, Hogfather, Papa, whatever you want to call him. He's a man of many names, but just pure awesomeness and a great brother. So we're going to get into a real fun interview I had with him, and we're going to see kind of a behind the scenes, at least those of you who are on the video form. If you're obviously listening to this in the audio form, you won't get a whole lot from the extra snippet of the interview I got with him. But those of you who are watching on YouTube or watching on the replay on YouTube, you're going to get to see kind of a behind the scenes look at how things look when how things look on Papa's side with all the different patches and different things that he has. He's got, well, as you can probably imagine, he's got quite the collection. So very valuable stuff in there, and just fun to see. So again, please don't forget, if you are out there on YouTube and you're watching, don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you are notified every time we have something pop in video format, as we did earlier in the week. And what we did early in the week, one of our brothers, well, actually a couple of our brothers, I'll talk about this for just a second if you don't mind. A couple of our brothers came up with this this idea earlier in the week, and I thought it was really cool, and I decided to run with it a little bit. But the premise on a theme, as we normally post on Instagram, of be the light. And I thought it was really cool. Be the light, this be the light idea. And just the positivity and what that all encompassed. And so I just said, you know, I just want to make a fun video that kind of shows that in a visual form. And so that's the video that most of you have seen out there on YouTube. It's on or on Instagram. And what actually happened was that Instagram video, like the minute or so that lasted, that was actually done after I spoke on the Mid-Morning Super Awesome live stream Facebook show that very morning about the whole prospect of being the light, being a positive source of enlightenment for guys, and just trying to be a positive source of inspiration to our brothers and everybody else that you come across on a daily basis. So after that, I did snip that thing down, and that's on YouTube. You can watch that later if you haven't already seen that. Just an edited version. I think it's like 8 or 9 minutes long. Just kind of a little pick-me-up. But yeah, the Chad and Mark, our brothers, did a great job, I think, of coming up with this idea and pushing this prospect of be the light, be the light. And yeah, we just ran with it. And what's really cool is that not just the video that I produced, but there were so many posts of inspiration. There were so many posts of positivity that came out of that. And as our man Puzzle would say, see what can happen when one man has an idea and runs with it. And so, you know, these guys had an idea, and several of us ran with it. And boy, it was something that was much needed. I saw messages on several guys' posts, you know, about how inspiring their different posts were and how much people needed to hear that. Right now, we're going through this thing where, you know, some of these chapters out there have not really been able to get together, and some of these guys around haven't been able to even get together for small meetups with some brothers. And it's very easy to think about the fact that, okay, you're going to kind of go into a little bit of a depressed state because of that. But it came at the right time. And as somebody who sent me a message just earlier, I think it was yesterday, somebody sent me a message to say that it's funny how sometimes the right message comes across just when you need it. And I think that's happened to all of us at times. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time for that inspiration for Chad and Mark to forward that to us. So some really cool stuff there. So thank you again, guys, for being an inspiration for the idea that became the message of Be the Light. That really is what it's about. It's about being a light, being an inspirational light, and recognizing the fact that, as I said in that video, the quote was that a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. And it's so true. It's so true. And it's so true about so many different things in life. There was actually one part of it I was going to add to that video, but I thought it was just a little bit too long and it was a little more drawn out. But everybody who's listening to this, everybody who's watching right now, you know what it's like to light a candle. And you know what it's like to light a candle for the very first time with a brand new wick, right? You always have to hold either the lighter or whatever flame it is that's lighting that. You always have to hold that a little longer on a brand new wick to make sure it's lit. It doesn't just light right away. And so I think there's a secondary message there that is emblematic of life. It's emblematic of inspiration and the need to be inspired, because you can bring that flame. You can bring your flame over to somebody else to share it, right? But if they've never had that before, if they've never experienced it before, it doesn't happen right away. It's not instantaneous. It takes a few seconds. It takes a few minutes. It takes some time. So as you're lighting their light for that first time, it can be life-changing, because once it's lit, right? Think about that for a second. Once it's lit, even if it starts to flicker, even if it starts to smolder, even if it starts to go out, even if it goes out completely, you can still take another flame to that candle and it lights up almost immediately once it's been lit. So I think that that's such a cool message to also think about when we tie this in with the whole message of Be the Light, is that even when somebody is down, even when somebody has lost some hope, even when somebody just doesn't know where to turn, you can be that light to that person. You can let them borrow your light. As we've said, you lose nothing by doing so. But if they've had that light before, even if it's extinguished, even if it's smoldering, think about how much quicker things can light up. So it's a secondary message, I think, that you can do that for people. You can be that inspiration to people. You have no idea what's going on in somebody's life and the personal things that they just keep to themselves. So never think that you know what it's like to be in someone's shoes, but still recognize the fact that you can always be there to help out. You can always be there as a source of inspiration, whether you think you can be or not. Just being there for somebody, just putting a smile on somebody's face, it's an amazing, amazing thing. So I will leave it at that, guys. I'll get off my light soapbox here. We've talked about it a lot this week, and who knows? Maybe I'll create a presentation and do it from a stage one day. That's what everybody needs. BP up on a stage giving a presentation on how to be the light. So yeah, that's but it's just such a cool message to think about. So again, I've said it so many times, but thank you to Chad and Mark for the inspiration that you did to create this idea that became our message for the week, Be the Light. So guys, the podcast interview guest this week, as I said, is Papa. And he is from the BVC, the Bearded Villains of Chicago. And something a lot of people may not realize is it's not where he started. He actually started up in Wisconsin. And it's funny. His story is kind of a funny one in that, that's not where he started, but that's where he is. That's where everybody knows him from, is from BVC. And everybody knows him as the Hogfather, as the Patch Master, as whatever you want to call him, from Patch Hogs. And it's something very cool he created. He's got a great story behind it. Got a great story, if you're not familiar with, on how he created an auction room. So that's doing some really amazing things. So I'm going to play this interview, and then I'm going to come back after the interview, talk for another second or two, and then I'm going to let those of you who are watching the live stream in on a little snippet that we took after we got done with our video call, when he's kind of showing us around his room there at the house, where he's got, just oodles and oodles of history of patches, some real cool stuff, and not just patches, but a lot of really cool stuff. So I'm going to play this video for you guys now, and boy, I hope you're as impressed as I am, because he's done some great things with this, and I can only imagine where things are going to go from here. So here is my interview with Papa. My guest today comes from the BVC. He's been all over the map. If you have been to a BVC event, if you've been to a Bearded Villain event, period, chances are you know who he is by just the name Papa. Others know him by Hogfather. Others just know him as one hell of a cool dude. Please help me welcome Papa. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Oh, man. I'm doing great. We have talked for a while about trying to get you on this podcast. And
Past week.
Oh man, this past week has been rough. You're a working fool, that's for sure. Which makes me wonder. We'll get to it in a
Yeah.
minute, but you are the traveling villain. You're all over the place when it comes to events, and so we'll get to it, like I said, in a minute. But it makes me wonder how in the world it took me so long to nail you down for this interview, but you travel all over the place for BV events like it's nothing. So
Uh,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But man, tell me a little bit about your story, man. Where did you, well, let's start with your BV beginnings. You originally, I know, started out of Wisconsin and now you're BVC.
So yeah, so I heard about the Bearded Villains in 2014 around midsummer from my buddy who I went to high school with
Mhm.
about 25 to 30 years ago. His name is Boss BB305. And so he was a former co-captain for Danny.
Okay.
So he was, and then I hit him up, and like he said there was like, how do I get on? I was like, and he's at that time I don't think he knew that there was a chapter forming. And he's like, well, if you come down here, we'll get you in, So gradually through the years passed, through the months passed by, I was working at the bar and I was at the door, and lo and behold, there was a waitress there. Her name is Monica Perez, right?
Okay.
Monica Perez is the half sister of Jonathan Perez, who was at that time a captain of South Wisconsin.
Gotcha.
So when he became, to BB, he became BB through a brother from South Africa.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was only one guy. There was only one guy, So he's not in BB no more. He was. I talked to him here and there, but I forgot his name. But yeah, he was cool, man. And like he was talking about BB stuff like that, and he was like all into the patch game. He wanted to get a patch, and it was so hard for him to get a patch. At that time, I did not know nothing about it.
Right.
About the patch game and stuff like that, and it wasn't even a big thing. So at that time, I was just gradually going up, from enforcer to sergeant here and there, and that's when at that time the captain, Shred Wolf, decided that we should just split from north to south,
Gotcha.
because of the traveling issues and where people live at, which we was okay with at that time.
Yeah.
So we did that. Like a year, 2 years passed by. I gradually just went up in the ranks all the way to captain. And then after the captain, we had an issue. And then I went back to North Wisconsin, back to Short Wolf. And I was there for maybe a year. And then, like, I can't forget this because I think it was in December when I hit up Jay Mendez or Optimus. I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to move on, from North. So I talked to them. I talked to Shred, and I said, it's okay, if I go with these guys because it's much closer,
Yeah.
It makes sense. 6 hours compared to an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes.
Right.
You save so much gas money, So he understood, and he always said, like, whenever you want to come back, I'm always here with open arms because I know what you're about. You don't play around. You with the business. You here and there. It's like, and ever since then, I've been with the BBC.
Man, what a cool story, though. I mean, you've been with, and you still live in Wisconsin, but it's still closer for you, as you said, to be with the BVC, man. And people that jump in now, they have no idea about that past with you, that you were actually somewhere else first, and because you're one of the most recognizable BVC guys out there. So it's very cool to see. I know every time I met something where it's BVC, I don't think I've ever seen BVC represented that you weren't there. So
True.
that's a great thing, man. So what kinds of things do you do in your personal life? If you don't mind asking, like what's work life, family life, what all that like for you?
Well, before the Knoxville meet, I graduated. I'm a workaholic.
Yeah.
I did like 80, I think it was 86 or 87 days straight from the last meet I was in, and that was from I think it was Nash Vegas, I think it was, or the last world meet. From the last world meet all the way around.
Wow.
Yeah, and as you know, and I've been here and there. I have 3 kids. One of them is gonna be a mother soon.
Oh,
So I'm about to be a
you're about to be
granddad.
a
So
grandpa.
yeah, it's kind of weird.
Gra- Grandpa Papa.
That- and I've heard it all. I've heard it all.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. So that's awesome, though. About to be a grandpa. So, and if anybody is curious, he is, I just found this out, he's actually a native New Yorker, too. So he's been all over the place. But that's probably where he gets a little bit of that rough part of his personality is the New Yorker in him, right? Okay, we'll let that slide. That's great. So you've been part of BV now. I mean, in various forms, really. I mean, and up through the ranks and different things since 2015. What are some of the things, as somebody who has been around BV and seen so much? What are some of the things that you've seen that were the greatest changes, the neatest things that you've seen change over the years?
As far as the charity work and the community service, there's it's been blowing up more the past 2 years than in the beginning of the first 2 years.
Yeah.
So we're on our 5th year already. So the first 2 years it wasn't as popular as it is right now. Now it's really active. We have doing more charity works. We're doing more work for community service. You know, I got my lady with me, Bunny. She didn't know, Jessica. So she's been with me for a long. We're going on the 5th year anniversary this year.
All right.
And she didn't know about the whole billion thing. Then, she knew me without the beard and stuff like that in 2014. And then all of a sudden, dude, she's seeing how active we are. And now she's getting into it. She's into the patch game herself. That's like everybody's an addict to the patch game. So that's what's up.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Yeah, it seems like the people that have been around for that amount of time, like you have been since 2015, you really see that difference in the way that the club, that the Bearded Villains started out as more of a, hey, look at us, we're going to be taking pictures, to all the charity works that these, I say OG, these OG chapters, the ones that were the first handful of Bearded Villain chapters out there, were those first ones that said, hey, we see a potential here. We're going to do something else with it. And the Brotherhood, man, has been amazing with the charity works. I think it's just fun to see. And you, as part of BVC, man, you guys have been one of the leaders in that, at least as I know, as far as the last 2+ years that I've been involved in the Bearded Villains. It's really kind of crazy to see how much the BVC guys and a few of the other chapters are really doing. It almost seems like every week or every other week there's something going on that you guys are a part of. I know it's not quite that excessive, but you guys have been blowing it out of the water, man. That's pretty great to see.
Especially at this time of year when the whole COVID thing is like we like missed like almost 2 events already, because of the whole COVID-19 thing. I was like, it shut everybody down.
Yeah.
But when I found out about the whole Knoxville, it was epic over there. Raised $10,000. I even donated one of my hog testing patches that went up for like $225, and it was nuts, man.
Wow. Yeah, I was so hoping to be able to make that, and it just didn't work out for me. And I knew that it was going to be, because it was the first. It was and I'm sure you could compare it to other events you've been to, but it was the first big one that anybody that BV has held since the COVID thing hit. So I knew that there were going to be people scrambling to try and get to that, because it's like, you get there and everybody was just kind of a big deep breath of, this is what we needed, this is what we wanted, and man,
especially isolated inside of 4 rooms, 4 walls and a ceiling,
yeah.
And I was like, I was with Leo the Villain, right? And this was like his second meet with me, but he loves going to these meets. And then he told me that you were supposed to roommate with us that first day on Thursday. I was like, what? Are you sure? He was like, yeah. I was like, but I don't know if you was looking to stay at one of the rooms until you get your room yourself, because I didn't know what was going on.
Wow. Man, it's the pictures don't even, from what I've heard from everybody that was there, the pictures don't even do it justice. But the amount of money that was raised was just, I mean, it's crazy. mean, if somebody would have walked in the door and said, "Hey, yeah, these guys, we're hoping to raise $5,000," I'd have been like, "Wow, that's a hell of a take for an event," and they doubled that.
Especially after months.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy stuff, man. So as we keep tapping around the topic a little bit of the patch game and all that is the patch game. So let's get into, for those listening that are not familiar, what is Hogfather? How are you the Hogfather? What does the title mean?
Well, Hogfather was created by Shady. He gave me that name.
Okay.
So I was like, so we ran with it. I was like, all right, fine. And then VK started calling me Hogfather. I was like, all right, man, it's kind of excessive here.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So the Patch Hogs started out in March of 2017.
Okay.
With only 8 guys. So we called ourselves like the Elite Ocho, the Elite 8. So it was just 8 of us. It was kind of a lot of skeptics at the beginning. They didn't want us. They thought they was trying to create our own, be a group. And like, no, it's just a patch game. We're just collecting patches from all chapters, no matter what it is, high or low light. We're just going to collect the patches. And then that's when we started our motto: support those who can't support themselves. And at the beginning, all you needed was 100 patches and you're in. Now, since the patch game has exceeded so much and so quickly, it's easy to get 100. So now we had to extend that to 200.
Okay.
200 patches, a picture with 2 members of the Patch Hogs, a background check from your captain and your scout. And what else? You have to be a member at least a year to 18 months.
Okay.
Because we had a situation in the past history of 2 guys who want to be a member of the Patch Hogs, but all of a sudden they did wrong, and that's where the Panama auction steps in.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So that's where that stepped in, and basically, how it is. People will say they mailed something and they didn't, so they could keep the money.
Right.
So that's why we had to extend these rules and have to, obey by the rules. Just like BB has this code of conduct rules, we have to have Patch Hog rules, and that's why we do so many background checks.
Wow.
So it's hard to get in here now. So and at this moment we have so many guys from the East Coast and from the South that we don't have nobody from the West Coast.
Wow. Okay.
So now we got 2 guys from the West Coast, which is Mongo, Chris, aka Mongo, and we have Marsola, and then we had the original Hog, the OG, which is Daniel Sapper.
Okay.
So that right now we're just working on them. So that's what's going on at this moment. So
for those that are trying to decipher exactly what we're talking about here, Patch Hogs is an organization. It's a group of guys. And what exactly are you? You went through some of the requirements of it. What would you say if you were to describe the purpose? What's the mission of the Patch Hogs? What are they specifically about?
Charity, helping those that need it the most. Like what just happened a couple of weeks ago to Kraken. Had a stroke. We all got together. And we stepped into the Panama auction, and it's like they started just raising money for no reason. It just started. It was not even a lot of patches donated. We just started raising money, and all of a sudden, he got donated about maybe it was like 9,500.
Yeah.
In less than maybe 6 hours.
Right.
Just like that. So and now there's a couple of more auctions that are coming up soon for him. Just to cover for, he's been at home and stuff like that. So, when you're struggling, you need help, so we have to step in,
Yeah.
That's like, just like today when BB put that, the whole theme of unity, we come in there and we kick ass, basically, we make sure you get taken care of at the end of the day.
Yeah. Such a great thing. Now, when you started the Patch Hogs, when it began, you didn't actually have an auction. There wasn't actually an auction page or an auction room. So, was it in its initial stages? Was it just a collecting thing, or was there still a charity aspect of it then, or did the charity aspect kind of develop from after you saw what you could really do with it?
It developed after. You know,
Okay.
at first it was just a patch game. You know, everybody collecting patches here and there. You know, and then gradually it just started going towards charity. You know, we was already doing charity for our own chapters.
Right.
You know, with this, you know, somebody came up with the regular idea, you know, of an auction chat. You know, it was just auction chat. That's it. You know, and a lot of guys didn't like it. You know, so they wanted to step in. So we had to create another one. And now there's like 3 or 4 auction chats. You know, one doesn't like the other chat, this and that. You know, every chat they're always bickering.
Sure.
You know, which is nothing. You know, at the end of the day, you know, when we all meet up with each other, you know, and we're there and we're at the place and we're all there for a purpose, which is, you know, beer competition, and it's a charity, then we all, like, we don't even remember what happened last week.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So so what you've been able to do with the decision to kind of push an idea of charity and charity aspects, and it's really, when you think about it, this auction room that you created, and it's gone through a couple different transitions, I think, over the time since you started, and it was originally named something, and now it's named something else. Can you give us a little bit of just a little quick rundown of why you chose to name it what it's named right now?
PG Patrick, at that time, way about 2 years ago, so he decided to do a called Para, and all of a sudden decided to switch to Para. You know, at that time, I didn't want to see. And they asked, like, do, man, whatever, you know, however much money you raised, I'm just gonna give it to my family. I can't. I'm not even gonna take it. You know, I just give it because they need it for funeral and burial costs. I'll say, here. You know, my sister developed a page, you know, like a GoFundMe page, and also she had the PayPal.
Right.
So the bottom of my auction raised about, I think it was about $11,000. That was the highest ever I've ever seen, you know, and that was covered for funeral and burial cost, you know. And it's so weird that when I was over there, it was like it costs more to put somebody underground than actually for the whole ceremony. I was like, how is that even possible? You know, but it is. I was like, okay. And so my sister had a GoFundMe too going on, and that raised about 10 grand. And the weirdest thing that got me when I was over there is the people around the neighborhood that my mother used to lend money to when they needed it and stuff like that. They got all together and they gave her all the money plus extra, and that was another $10,000.
Holy cow!
Yeah, there was a lot of money, just, you know, just like that. I was still just in shock and surprised, you know.
Wow.
So at that time, so everything that was raised was just like all in for them, you know, because I already have my job and stuff like that. I donated, you know, I put in like, I think it was like maybe like $2,000. And I was like, just take it. You know, you need it more than I do, you know.
Right.
And that's how it's always been. You know, you need something, I got you. You know, sure. and you know this already, dude. As far as it comes to charity, you know, I always have everybody's back. You know, when it comes to the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, you know, I knew the story, but I really wanted you to be able to tell the story about how the name came to be, and I think it's such a cool testament to what you have created, but also it's a really neat, you know, kind of a pay it forward situation where, you know, you created something real cool, and it was a chance for people to give back to you and say thank you to you. And just mad love and respect for what you do, what you stand for, and then flip it back on the other end. And now you've continued this auction page, where it has produced just, I mean, literally since its inception. I'm sure you probably could try and figure out a dollar amount, but I could tell you just off the top of my head, I know it's in the several thousands of dollars that has been raised. For a variety of different reasons, for, you know, everything from, you know, family members of brothers sick and in distress, to loss of jobs to all sorts of different things. So,
Yeah.
what an amazing thing it is that you created there, man. It's awesome.
Even what was it, Roberto from Pennsylvania chapter, Caps for Days. He had an issue with his dog.
Yeah.
There was money for that. You
Yeah.
know, I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
just
That's
like
crazy.
just
It's
like whatever it is.
but you know what I love? What I love about that page is that you there's standards. There's certain restrictions and guards in place and rules, but it's pretty much
Yeah.
open to, unless somebody's just wanting to, hey, I want to buy a big screen TV. You know, we haven't seen somebody request that, or at least I haven't heard of anybody requesting that yet. But it's, you know, when you talk about that, it's been a wide variety of things that have come up that the patches, you know, that these auctions have been raising money for. So I just think it's a really great thing that you instilled there and that you started. So
It's funny that you just said that because one of the administrators, they needed a vehicle for their family, and they gave up their patches. And you have some rare patches; it's hard to give them up. But you know, when it comes to family, you have to give it up. And they raised about, I think it was close to $8,000.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. But that's a perfect example. I mean, it's like, you know, it's an opportunity, and I know this this auction chat is not the only one where this happens, but it happens a lot in your chat where somebody will say, okay, I want to do an auction for XYZ, and then they put in a whole bunch of their own patches, and then just by the sheer nature of people's charity and how people feel about the cause, about the person, whatever it is, they just want to help. And so they toss in a bunch of their own patches too, and they're not getting anything out of it. These are, in many cases, you see people putting in these patches that are, like you said, some really expensive, hard to find patches that are going to most likely get a lot of money. And I love
like
the fact,
prospect.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah, and any of the other ones that are extremely limited and hard to find right now that you see out there, guys just, you know, knowing full well that they could sell this patch to somebody for a couple $100 probably, and somebody would pay it no problem, or they could wait and do it on their own personal auction of some sort. They just throw it in and say, "Here, you can have it for this auction." It's an amazing thing, man. It's so awesome to see. So, when I see somebody that has started something like that, and when you look back, you know, it's not something where you want to pat yourself on the back, obviously, for, but it's got to be a great feeling to see, you know, where this thing that you created has, you know, really touched all these lives in such a positive way.
Of course.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, okay. So before I let you go, you are always, and I know I got you on a little one-liner when I stuck a mic in your face in Nashville. So you're always one that has some good solid words for brothers that are either coming into the BV circle or have been in BV or need a pick me up or whatever it is. If you were to give some advice to brothers, somebody just came up and said, "Hey, pick me up," or you just give some advice to somebody for BV, what could you say?
Right now, you know, anytime. Sometimes, especially when guys are going now, it's like have patience. Have patience. Everything's gonna come out at the end of the day. You're gonna be okay. You know, if anything, just hit me up, and that's what I always tell them. Just hit me up. I got you. No matter what it is, you know. And usually, you know, 9 times out of 10 it happens. You know, so gradually, you know, and then when they're trying to come up, you know, in BB, when they want to be a member real quick and stuff like that, I say just be patient. It's gonna come to, especially with the new rules now. You know, it's like you'll get it. Trust me, you'll get it. You know, just be patient. Do what you got to do. What your chapter brothers ask of you. You know, your captain, your scout. You know, just put in work. Do your charity work. You know, get in the grind. And at the end of the day, you're gonna be feeling good about yourself. You know, and then you're gonna want more out of it. You know, that's why I was just talking to another guy. What's his name? I forgot it. Threeper.
Okay. Yeah.
I was just talking to him. Yeah, and he's active. I mean, he put in some work, you know, and I'm impressed. I'm really impressed about him, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he goes out of his way, you know, just to help out the next man, you know,
Yeah.
and he just like, you know, that is hog material right there, you know. But, you know, at the end of the day, like I tell him, I said, just be patient, man. Everything's going to come to you, you know.
Yeah.
Just keep putting in that work, man. It's all about the grind at the end of the day.
That's patience. Well put, man. Well put. I knew I'd get something good out of you. Well, that's well put. Man, he is the Hogfather. He is Papa, soon to be Papa, or whatever name he's going to come up with. Grandpapa Papa. We'll call him all sorts of fun stuff. Man, Papa, I appreciate you. Thanks so much for finding some time for me. And I look forward to seeing you at many events here in the future real soon.
Indiana.
Love you, bro. Take care.
You too, man.
All right. Wow. Wow. That's such a cool thing. Such a cool thing. And to think that, you know, think about for a second, you know, and I was probably underselling it when I said that there were tens of that, you know, several thousands. I mean, you got to figure on, there's probably tens and tens of thousands of dollars that have been raised in this auction chat that he's created. And you know, such a cool story that, you know, that the patch, that his chat, the auction chat is named now Patamama after his mom. And, just a really neat story, paying it forward and, you know, doing the charity work, doing the stuff that really affects other people in a way that, you know, not many people can do right now. This is his thing, and he's doing a great thing with it. So if you are interested, be careful though. You're not gonna become a patch hog anytime soon, and it's not super easy. Remember, you got that background check. You've got all sorts of you know, you got to be a member. You've got, there's a whole bunch of criteria. So hit him up if you are interested in that, but recognize, as he said, patience is needed for sure. So, but yes, thanks again. You know, Papa, it's, I'm honored to know you. I'm honored to see firsthand and be able to glimpse and see what the lives that you're able to change, with this, with your, you know, your auction room and with the Patch Hogs. So you're doing great things. Just keep it up. Now, for those of you who are on the live stream right now, I'm going to give you a glimpse with a short video, very short video. This is part 2 of the interview, where Papa's just going to show us a little bit around the room where he was during the interview. And he's going to give us a glimpse at some rather cool stuff. So let's check this thing out here. If you want to go ahead and take us through the room, show us what we are going to all be jealous of.
Let's see. You want to see a $3,000 shirt?
I want to see a 3,000. I want to see it. I want to see it all, buddy. Now, whatever you show us, you got to make sure you give us a description of.
All right. Let's see here. These are like 2016 right here. All first runs.
All right.
Those all first runs right there. That's about a $2,000-$3,000 shirt right there.
Yeah.
And so you know, we guys have a tendency of doing little plaques here of frames, you know.
Uh-huh.
These are all. This one's real expensive. This one's hard to get. This is something right here.
Ooh.
They hard hitters just like us.
Wow, okay. That's awesome.
This is your autisms.
Okay, you got all the autisms grouped. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. There's about 600 in here.
You just don't even have room for them.
Yeah, they're about to blow up. And these are the rings. Everything on the left-hand side is all the rings that BB made.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there's more rings over here. Then there's another Patch Hog member over here. Like about 20 hats down there. Might be mailing these hats soon, trying to sell them. I got too many hats. And then I got that big boy here.
Yeah.
If you ever want a plaque, go hit up PG, because this is what he do right here. His wife carves them out and she paints them. You know.
Oh wow.
And this is all we do. You know, we collect them. Sometimes we frame them because they look real nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even. I've got that one, and I don't have it framed. I should probably frame that. It's pretty nice. Looks nice. Looks nice framed.
Best thing ever. It's the best ever when you frame stuff. It looks just so classy.
All right, guys. So just a glimpse around his room a little bit there, and some really cool stuff. You can see. Visit him in person if you want the full guided tour. If you can get his address. And it would be fun. It would be really fun, especially that big collection of what he says, 600 or so patches, probably a lot more than that stuffed in there. Just to go through some of those and see some of the patches that, and when you have that many patches, it would be hard for him to probably catalog and comprehend and remember all of them himself. Because especially when you talk about the different patches for the different, events or charities or different things like that, it just kind of runs together. But just to be able to look through that library of patches would be fun to do, just to see what's been out there over the years. But yeah, very cool stuff, guys. So real quick, I did want to apologize to Jay. I found out that I forgot he watches the podcast on the TV, so he didn't bust out on us and disappear. He's on his TV, puts it up on the big screen. That's a good idea. I like that. So let's see here. I did want to acknowledge, I said something in the mid-morning live stream show, I think, earlier in the week too. I did want to give some kudos to our Toronto chapter. They posted, go out to their IG page. They posted a photo of all the recyclables in the back of a vehicle. It looked like a back of a truck that they were donating to a special needs adult charity. So that was really cool to see what came out of that, especially that they were able to do that again. So hard sometimes to do these charity works during the pandemic, even with some of the lightening up of restrictions. So it was great to see that. Also, the Bearded Villains down in Georgia did some work on some stuff down there in Georgia. Looked like painting on other odd things around a building. Very cool stuff. They didn't have much of a description on that, so I'm sure somebody can correct me and explain to me what that is after the fact. Also, the Bearded Villains Brazil posted that they were able to do some stuff with helping out people with lunch boxes and baskets and different things like that. So really cool stuff to see. Hopefully I don't completely overlook people, but I try to go by what I can see on Instagram, what I can bring here and talk about. So, I apologize if I'm missing something that somebody's doing, but as I always say, if that's the case and you're worried about that, please give me a shout. And by all means, let me know what your chapters are up to, and I will include them in just letting everybody know. It's not a matter of bragging. It's just a matter of sometimes we talk, full circle, right? We're going to go full circle on this. It's about being that candle. And, being able to inspire other people. So, just by letting people know what your chapter's up to, the different types of events you're up to and you're doing, and the different causes you're fighting for and helping, you have no idea what kind of an inspiration that could be to somebody else, some other chapter, some other brother that's looking for something to do. So never feel like it's bragging. Always feel like you're pushing the name of BV and charity and what you're trying to do. But keep me posted for sure on the stuff that you guys have going on, please. Hey guys, if you are looking for an all-natural beard oil that will not only tame your beard and coarse hairs and make your beard soft and smell amazing, check out Pulpo Beard Oils. Veteran-owned and made for today's beards, Pulpo beard products combine the best beard ingredients on the market with incredible customer care and customer service to ensure your happiness. Whether you need beard wash, beard oil, beard balm, or some fun clothing, Pulpo is the place to go. Feel fresh, feel savage, feel confident with Pulpo Beard Oils. Go to pulpobeardoils.com. That's Pulpo beardoils.com. Use the code The Heart of a Villain for a discount on your order. All right, guys. So we're going to slide on in here to our calendar of events. You should know by now. There's just a handful that we have official, but there's some other stuff coming down the pike, so stay tuned and pay special attention to what we may have coming on down the road. September 11th through the 13th, Four Corners Meet is in Cortez, Colorado. Again, the Four Corners Meet in Cortez, Colorado is for brothers only, just a chance for brothers to share some brotherhood time and enjoy themselves there. That's September 11th through the 13th. September 25th to the 27th, the Bearded Villains Missouri Valley chapter is celebrating their second anniversary with a beard competition. There will be vendors, door prizes, all sorts of stuff going on there. There's a meet and greet at the Last Hotel's rooftop at 1501 Washington Avenue in St. Louis. And the beard comp is at Four Hands Brewing Company from 1 to 5 p.m. on the 26th at 1220 South 8th Street in St. Louis. There's also going to be a farewell brunch, but that's to be decided at this point. Then there's the Battle of the Beards, October 3rd. It's benefiting the Gresham House down in southern Indiana. It's hosted by It's hosted by the Bearded Villains of Southern Indiana. It's at the American Legion Post number 44 in Newburgh, Indiana. Again, that's the Battle of the Beards, actually the Battle of the Beards 3, and that's October 3rd, benefiting the Gresham House. October 16th and 17th is the 4th Florida Summit. I don't know if they're calling it the 4th Annual Florida Summit, but it feels better to call it that, but they're calling it the 4th Summit. Well, we'll call it. It's the summit anyway. It's the 4th Florida Summit, October 16th and 17th. And it's going to be held in Pensacola Beach, Florida. Guys, this is going to be a fun one. The details aren't really out there right now, but I'm telling you what, they don't care. The guys hosting this thing, our Florida brothers, they're tuned up, man. They're ready to go, and they want this to be an awesome experience. So they don't have a host hotel for discounts. They just say get something, find something. Most people are doing Airbnbs. Figure out where you want to do, where you can stay, because they are determined to put this thing off, just like our brothers did in Smoky Mountain chapter for Knox Villains. These guys are primed and ready to go. They want this, so they will find a place to do everything, come hell or high water. That's been what's told to us. So Pensacola Beach, Florida, October 16th and 17th. Find your way there. It looks like it's going to be an awesome time. All right. So, guys, don't forget, if you have any interest in getting shirts, patches, and pins from the Heart of a Villain podcast, you can go to theheartofavillain.simplecast.com, and you can get that, all the merch stuff you want. Remember that if you do order a shirt, chances are it's going to take 4 or 5 weeks to get in, because we do those on order spec. So, theheartofavillain.simplecast.com. All right, guys, you know what that music means. It means that'll wrap up episode 37 of The Heart of a Villain. Special thanks again to Papa, the Hogfather, the Papa Father, the Papa Hog, whatever we want to call him. We love him. Special thanks to him for being here for us, and a great interview telling us all about what he's been up to and the auction and what the Patch Hogs are all about. Remember, like I said, you can still buy those shirts, patches, pins if you want to. Don't forget, guys, the Heart of a Villain never stops beating. And finally, guys, as always, remember, please, it's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. So for now, have a great weekend. Take care and stay safe.
No borders. Don't get it twisted like contortionists in close quarters. My crew has more heads than peeps cleaning up on borders. When Blah, Jelly, and I, we come together, transformers. So when we meet up, handshakes, brews, and salutes. Every brother is different, fingerprints in that